Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I have a new keychain for you and it's the Stanley Cup Keychain. I couldn't resist with the whole cup craze going on right now, so I wanted to help my cup girlies out with a cute keychain to represent. It's a little hard to make, but I made very detailed instructions and everything you will need will be listed for you, and the logo I made especially for you guys will be found in the description. It's already at size, so you just need to print it out and follow the instructions I made for y'all. With all that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. For this project, you will need crochet thread in hot pink or whatever color you want your cup to be, and gray. You will need a 1.4mm hook. You'll also need pliers, a keychain, some packing tape, stuffing, glue, and not pictured, but a piece of gray yarn. Oh, and a sewing needle. To begin our keychain, we're going to take our thread color of choice and our 1.4mm hook. And just a quick tip here, I put my threads on a toilet paper roll because that way they don't roll around the room. And you can pull the thread with ease, highly recommend. But yeah, we're just going to take our thread and begin with a magic circle. If you need help on how to do that, I have a video right here on how to do it. We're going to chain 1 to secure our magic circle, and then we're going to put 5 single crochets into the circle. We're now going to pull our circle closed, and then we're going to begin our second row by putting an increase into each stitch around, giving us 10 total stitches. We're now going to begin our third row, and to do that we're going to put a single crochet into the first stitch and then an increase into the second. We're going to repeat this all the way around for a total of 15 stitches. Okay, for the fourth row we are going to put a single crochet into each stitch around, but for this row it's going to be in the back loop only. I recreated this part with yarn so that those who have trouble with back loop onlys can see the process a little bit clearer than with thread. After finishing this row, you should notice that the front loops of this row are now protruding out. I do this so that the bottom of the cup is more defined, and that's how you know that you did it right. So now for rows 5 through 10, you're just going to single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, we just completed the 10th row, and this is what your cup should look like so far. We're going to now start row 11, and for this row, you're going to want to put a single crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then an increase in a third. But for this row, we're going to be going into the front loop only. I once again demonstrate this with the yarn so that y'all who need help with this can see it a lot better. So you're going to repeat this process all the way around, and this will give us a total of 20 stitches. This is how it should look after the front loop only row. You'll notice that the back loops are now protruding from the inside, and that's how you'll know it's right. For rows 12 through 13, we are just going to make a single crochet into each stitch around. For row 14, we're once again going to just single crochet all the way around, but in the back loop only. You'll again know you did it right when you see the front loops protruding on the outside of the cup. And now for rows 15 through 21, we are just going to make a single crochet into each stitch around. Alright, I finished my 21 rows, and now I want to make the handle before I fasten off. So I want to loop it on the first front loop that's showing here, but I'm not exactly lined up. So I'm going to make a single crochet into the next 4 stitches. You're then going to want to chain 13, and then you're going to make a slip stitch into that first front loop that's exposed. You're then going to go into the next front loop that's right next to it and make another slip stitch. Then you're going to turn your work and then make a single crochet going up the whole chain. Should end up with 13 single crochets. Alright, I finished chaining my handles, so now I'm going to go into the stitch where I started from and make a slip stitch. Then I'm going to go into the stitch right next to it and make another slip stitch. You can now cut off a small tail of the pink and just pull all the way through. And we're done with the cup. Yay! So to make the lid, you're going to take your 1.4mm hook and gray thread. We're going to begin with a magic circle. You're then going to chain 1 to secure it. And then you're going to put 5 single crochets into the circle. Pull the circle closed, and we're going to begin our second row by putting an increase into each stitch around, giving us a total of 10 stitches. For row 3, we're just going to put a single crochet into the first stitch, and then an increase into the second. And we're going to repeat this all the way around for a total of 15 stitches. For the fourth row, we are just going to put a single crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then an increase into the third, repeating this all the way around for a total of 20 stitches. Alright, so now we're going to start assembling the cup. So we're going to take our cup part and our lid that is still attached, and we're going to line it up so that it fits on top. There's 20 stitches on top and 20 stitches for the lid, so it should line up perfectly. And we're just going to make a slip stitch around the entire lip of the cup. You're going to begin by putting your hook through your first gray stitch, and then you're going to put your hook through the pink stitch as well. I'm going by the handle so that the ugliness stays on that side. And once you have both stitches on your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through both stitches, and then the remaining loop on your hook as well to create a slip stitch. We're going to do this all the way around 20 times. Before we fully seal up the cup, we are now going to stuff our cup. So I have about 5 stitches open, and I'm just going to grab some stuffing and a dowel, and I'm just going to stuff it firmly, but don't overstuff it. Just enough to give it a nice shape. Okay, now that the cup is stuffed and I'm satisfied with how it looks, I'm now going to finish up slip stitching the lid to the cup. With the slip stitches now done, I'm not yet done with the gray thread. We're now going to put a single crochet into each slip stitch around. We're actually going to go the opposite direction of our normal crochet, because if we make our lip, then it'll go inwards. So you're going to want to turn your work the opposite way and make your single crochets clockwise instead of counterclockwise. It is difficult to make single crochets through slip stitches, but just try your best. You can get your hook through, it's just a pain. Now that the lip of the cup is complete, you're just going to want to make a slip stitch into the very first stitch, and then just cut off a short tail and pull all the way through. Okay, so we're now going to make that part that goes across the lid of the cup. So you're going to take your cup color, in my case hot pink, and we're going to start with a slip knot. So this part runs perpendicular to the handle, so we want it to go this way. So you're going to pick a stitch that looks center going that way, and we're going to scoop up the stitch with our hook and make a slip stitch. We're then going to chain 8, and then we're going to see which stitch lines up perfectly across from the one we hooked onto. And once we decide which stitch that is, we're going to scoop it up on our hook and then make another slip stitch. We're now going to cut off a short tail and fasten off. And now let's start adding the finishing touches. So next we're going to make the straw. I cut off about a 3-inch long piece of a lightweight gray yarn. I wanted it to match the lid as much as possible. And I'm going to take a needle and go through the center stitch of the pink chain we made across the cup, as well as the magic circle from the gray lid part. So I'm going to stick my needle through the chain and the magic circle center at the same time. I'm going to insert my needle and have it come out the side like this. And then I'm going to thread the needle with the gray yarn. And then I'm going to pull through, leaving a pretty decently long section for the straw. I want it longer than I'm going to actually end up making it. And then I'm going to take some time now and just weave in all of these ends. Okay, so here's where a lot of the magic comes in. So you're going to want to grab a clean Tupperware. And then you're just going to get some Elmer's glue or school glue, it really doesn't matter, just some glue. They all work the same. And you're just going to put some into the Tupperware. It's a small project, so you really don't need a whole lot. And then you're going to add some water, like around this much. And then you're just going to want to mix it around with your finger. And you're going to grab your cup, and don't worry, none of the glue solution changes the color of anything or makes it feel gross. But we're going to begin with the straw, so you're going to grab some of the solution and start rolling the straw between your fingers and just getting it really saturated in the glue. I'm going to just trim it down a little bit, but still longer than I want it. And then for the next part, we're going to stiffen the bottom of the cup. You're going to take your dowel and push inwards so that it looks like a cup instead of kind of folding outwards. Going to push it in like this. Going to take some more glue water and put some all over the bottom there. And if you have to push it back in, be sure to do that. Also put some at the base of the straw as well, so this will secure the straw in from being able to be pulled out. And then lastly, we're going to saturate the handle. That way we can shape it into the shape that we want. So really make sure you get all that solution on there. So once you have all the glue, you're going to grab some pins. I only ended up using 2. But you're just going to pin it down somewhere on cardboard or whatever. And just pin it in the shape that you want. Obviously the Stanley handle is like pretty square. So I'm just going to pin it into that shape. Add more glue anywhere that you think you need. And then you're going to let this dry for a few hours. Alright, it's now the next day and everything dried really well. If yours isn't as stiff as you want it to be, you could just do a second coat. Or if you don't like the way it feels, you can also rinse it under water to get rid of it. So now I'm going to trim down the straw to size. And that's the finished look for it. So next, we are going to work on the label. So this was me attempting to make 3 different sizes. I ended up going with the small one. In the description box, I have the white background one, and I have a hot pink background one. The Brie at this time did not know that she was going to need the hot pink background one. So you're going to begin by cutting out your label. So I cut out the small, medium, and large labels because I wanted to see which one fit the cup better. Again, I went with the smallest one, and I actually didn't go with any of these because I ended up with a hot pink background one. But to demonstrate what I do for these labels is you pick the one you want, and you don't want to cut too close around the label yet, but you're going to grab some packing tape. You're going to cut off a small chunk of tape and then put the label underneath it so that it sticks in front. This is just kind of a way to laminate and protect the paper. Then you're just going to trim off the excess tape and start cutting around the label closely. But like I said, I went back and did it with the pink background because this label is very detailed and I can't possibly cut all of these things out at this microscopic level. So I tried to color match, and so I'm just going to redo it again with this label instead. Okay, so I finished cutting out the label, cutting as much excess as I could, and that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to now go off camera and hot glue it on to the best of my ability, and hopefully it looks good. Alright, I got it all glued on and it looks pretty good. So the absolute last step is to add our keychain. So you're going to grab your keychain and your pliers, and you're going to open up this jump ring with the pliers, or you could even do it with your fingers. And you can put it anywhere you want, but I'm putting it in the back of the handle here. I'm just going to pull up a loop with the ring and just get that on there. Once it's on, you're going to take your pliers again or your fingers and just close the ring back up. And there you have it. Alright guys, your Stanley Cup keychain is now complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was a big pain to make, but I hope it was worth it. I know this isn't my usual content this week, but I hope you guys will tell me down in the comments what kind of things you want to see in the future. I love making you guys videos every single week, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!